What's up, my friend? Welcome to the Finding Direction podcast. My name is Stu Massengill, and I'm here every single week to bring you a passionate guest or message dedicated to helping you find your purpose so that you can live a life full of passion, fulfillment, and happiness. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for hanging out with me, and let's dive in. What's up, my friend? Welcome back to another episode here on Finding Direction. This week, I'm sitting down with Kotaro Umeda, who is a professional soccer player. He's an author, he's a public speaker, and on this episode, a few of the things we dive into is the mindset to become a professional athlete. We talk about the power of focusing on today rather than in 5 years, focus on today, and how do you make your one-day dream a reality. You're going to enjoy this short but sweet episode. If you have not yet, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you can hang out with us every single week as we bring you new content through interviews and also solo episodes to help you find your purpose and maximize living it every single day. Here we go. Kotaro Umeda, welcome to the show, man. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. I'm looking forward to it. So as we dive into our conversation today, I'd love it if you could give our listener just kind of a little bit of a background as far as who's Kotaro and what do you do, and just let them know a little bit about yourself.
Absolutely. My name is Kotaro Umeda, as you mentioned. I'm currently a professional soccer player. I'm an author, and I do public speaking as a side and a little bit of modeling. I like to kind of take in every moment and try to do everything I can, you know.
I love it, man. How are you happy with the World Cup turnout, or who are you rooting for? Because you've kind of been all over the place in your life.
Yeah, absolutely. Argentina wasn't my first team. Obviously, I wanted Japan to go further.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't for them, I was happy to see Argentina because I always grew up a Messi fan. So just to see him lift the trophy, it was just a moment that I think we were all waiting for, you know. And it was unbelievable to see that.
For real. He's secured the GOAT title officially.
I think he has, without a doubt.
So cool, man. So if we go way back, I would love to learn from you as far as, you know, obviously you're a professional soccer player, and that's sort of one of the main things you do in your life. It's really been a lifelong journey to get there. I would be curious if you could take us way back as far as when did sort of the inception of becoming a professional soccer like really become the dream for you? Because I think, you know, a lot of the time people grow up and we're young and we go, I want to do this, I want to do that. And we say things, but then there's a moment in life, especially for being like a professional athlete, where something, I believe, I'm not a professional athlete, but this is what I believe happens. Like there's a point in your life where something clicks and you go, like, I'm not just talking about this, like I'm committed to this and I'm going to make this happen. And I'm going to put in the work. And I'm curious, do you remember the moment in your life where, you know, maybe you grew up playing soccer and you loved it and you wanted it to be a dream, but was there a moment in your life where you were really like, no, this is really what I'm going to make happen with my life?
I think that's the one thing I'm forever grateful for. I never doubted myself. I always believed that I could make it from the beginning. I grew up in a soccer family. My father was a trainer for a professional team in Japan. So my entire childhood, I grew up around a professional soccer environment. On the weekends, I would be at the stadium with the team and kind of cheering my father's team on. And so I always grew up in that environment. And we were always moving throughout my childhood from Japan to America and back and forth. So it was I never had a consistent relationship with a lot of my friends. Since we were always moving. So the only thing consistent in my family was soccer. And so soccer was what kind of kept me straight, kept me off the streets. And so I never really doubted the fact that I wasn't gonna make it. From a young age, I kind of was passionate in what I was doing. I was focused on what I was doing, and I had that strong belief that no matter what, I was gonna make it. I didn't really have a plan B. I always tell myself, if you have a plan B, you already gave up on your plan A, and that's kind of
Yeah.
the mentality that I had going forward, and surely, but surely you kind of manifest on those dreams, and I feel like I'm just kind of
Yeah.
harvesting on the seeds that I planted 20 years ago.
For real. Are there anything you like implemented into your life as a practice that you still do to this day, or remember back, when you were sort of in your early stages of soccer, that allowed you to build a habit of building more confidence and belief in yourself? Because I think, like you said, it's like if you can have self-belief in yourself with anything that you're pursuing, it's a cheat code, right? Because
Absolutely.
you're gonna get so much further than the person that goes, yeah, that's what I want to achieve, but I don't really believe it. Like I kind of doubt myself, and it sounds cool, but I don't really know if it's possible. Like you match that person up to you when you were like, I know I can make this happen. It's a ridiculous advantage for anything in your life that you want to pursue. So do you remember if there were anything that like allowed you to consistently reinforce that self-belief in yourself? Because that's huge.
I think for me, aside from the no, my parents are very strict with me. From
Hmm.
a very young age, strict in every way, like the stereotypical way as well. My father, I remember, wouldn't let me into the house unless I got 100 juggles and this was when I was 8 years old, and I'll be crying.
Dang.
I'll be in the
He's not
dark.
playing.
Yeah, he was very strict with me in that way.
Huh.
But I think I was more focused on kind of just finishing the task at hand. A lot of times I feel like we get caught up in where we want to be 5 years from now, 10 years from now. And obviously, in the back of my mind, I had that mindset of me wanting to make it to the professional level. But at the same time, I
Yeah.
was more focused on kind of just training that day and putting in the work that day, getting through my workouts, finishing
Hmm.
school, kind of just enjoying every moment. Um, Being with my teammates at a youth club level, and kind of finishing that task at hand. And when you compile those small details day in and day out, it kind of makes a big difference. It kind of creates that
Yeah.
bigger picture. And so I think rather than focusing on 5 years or 10 years ahead, it's
Hmm.
more important to kind of live in the present moment and give it everything you got. Because if you give everything you got today, 5 years from now, you will be where you need to be.
Yeah. Let's go, man. I love that. So cool. So as you continue to go throughout your soccer journey, eventually you do hit the professional soccer player mark, which is something I don't know what the stats would be for, but I'm sure it's 0.0001% of people actually get there. It's a massive achievement. And first, congrats on that. It's epic and awesome and amazing. And I'm curious for you, as you went through the journey of becoming a professional soccer player, what was the like most difficult moment you remember having throughout that journey, and what was maybe a lesson that you took from it?
Um, yeah, it's sports is unique because it's a constant journey of ups and downs. And the one thing I
Yeah.
like about sports is when you encounter a problem, you can't really run away from it. I think in life, when you encounter a problem, there's a lot of moments where you can kind of hide yourself from it and run away. But in sports,
Hmm.
when you encounter a problem, whether it's financial or injuries or not getting playing time, you have to face that problem yourself in that moment. You have to solve it at that moment. I think that's
Yeah.
the most important lesson that I learned. But I think for me, I always questioned my self belief, like you said. At the end of the day, I knew I believed in myself, but there were just so many circumstances going through the NCAA and trying to enter the draft and kind of make it to the professional level. You constantly hit obstacles, and you hit trials and tribulations where it kind of tests your faith. But I always tell myself, the faith that hasn't been tested can't be trusted. So I kind of, the one lesson that I learned
Mm,
is like you
I
said,
like
at the
that.
end of the day, you have to believe in yourself, because if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will ever believe in you. And then I think that's a lesson that I'll take with myself, for life, not just in my professional career, but a lot beyond after that.
Yeah, love it. I'm curious, do you have hopes? I know we started the conversation off talking about the World Cup. Is that at all a hope, a vision, a goal for the future?
I think absolutely. I think it's a dream that
Yeah.
we always have as kids.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm reaching a good age where I'm starting to realize the kind of like the difference in levels and kind of my maximum capacity that I can perform at. And I don't know if it's realistic, you know, I don't want to sound pessimistic, but I feel like for
Yeah.
me, you know, the level that I'm currently playing at is maybe a good enough level for me. Maybe, you know, I might be
Yeah.
too ambitious if I was to say, yeah, I definitely want to play in the Olympics or the World Cup for 2026.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, it's obviously a dream of mine, but I think at the same time, I have to stay realistic with myself.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's, when you commit to something like that, it's, as I would imagine, a whole nother level of discipline, commitment, work ethic. It's like you 100, like you have to go crazy to get there. And one thing that I feel like I'm almost hearing, and maybe you can expand upon this, is, if anybody listened to how you explained yourself in the beginning, you're a professional athlete, professional soccer player is one part, but you're also an author, you're a speaker, and you do other things, modeling, right? All these different avenues that you sort of explored. And one of them, it seems like, is, you look at World Cup as one, but a big thing we talk about on the show is using your energy to navigate you to where you're supposed to go to next in your life, that allows you to be successful, fulfilled, enriched, all those things. And I would imagine from the research I've done on your life that part of your energy pulled you into soccer initially, but part of that energy now is moving you towards this sort of other aspect, whether it's writing books and impacting people in that way, whether it's getting on a stage and sharing the messages and the journeys that you've been through to make an impact. And I'm curious, when did that part of your life come in where, you know, professional soccer player, I would assume, and author, we said professional soccer players 0.0001 stat, professional soccer player and athletes probably 0.00000001, right? It's like not many people are doing both of those. And so at what point did, it come into your head where you go, you know what, I'm working my ass off, I'm a soccer player and I've done this and I put all this effort in, but I'm going to throw something else on top of that and start becoming an author?
Yeah, absolutely. I have to give props to my parents. You know, like I said, they were very strict, but as ironic as it may sound, they were also very kind in the fact that they gave me a lot of freedom. When it came to my dreams and ambitions, they were strict, but they gave me a lot of leniency towards what I wanted to do. They never pressured me to go to college. They never pressured me to become a professional athlete. They never pressured me to get good grades in school. They just kind of let it flow,
Hmm.
and that kind of influenced me a lot. Seeing a lot of the trials and tribulations that I had to kind of go through with my family growing up, being first generation immigrants, having a yakuza gang trying to kill my mom when I was young, and my mom going through
Jesus.
cancer, and all of that kind of just brought a lot of trauma and nightmare to my life. So kind of I always tell myself soccer is a big part of my life. It's not everything. You know, I have a lot of other ambitions. I have a lot of other dreams that I wanted to accomplish, and
Yeah.
one of them were just, you know, I wanted to write books. That's just the dream that I've had since I was a young kid. Ever since I started learning English.
Huh.
I started learning English when I was 6 years old, and it was very difficult. you know, a lot of bullying, a lot of racism and stuff like that. But I said, you know, like since that age, I said, like I want to get to the point where I can speak English fluently. I want to get to a point where I want to write books. I want to help other people using this language that I have still yet to learn, and I feel
Yeah.
like I'm finally starting to get to that point. So it's, you know, like I said, I'm
So cool.
just manifesting on the plans that I seeded a couple 20 years ago. So, you know, it's all
Yeah,
coming together.
for real. And kudos to you for, I don't know why stats are in my brain today, but it's like people that write a book that don't speak English as their first language is, again, another small statistic, right? It's like you're doing all these things that are, um not many people do that stuff in their life. And I would love if you would share, like, what's one of the books you wrote and the biggest message you think that you really wanted to convey through one of those?
um, I actually wrote three. My
Yeah.
first one is just kind of certain points in my life that kind of stuck out to me, and how I was able to overcome it. Whether I had the help from my family or I used my faith from God.
Hmm.
My second is a children's book that my brother and I actually illustrated. and
Hmm.
we donated to the hospital that he's currently at. And the last one is a book on eight of the most important advices that I got growing up.
Hmm.
But I say
Love that.
the most important message, probably from my first book, is that everything happens for a reason, the good and the bad.
Yeah.
As hard as it may be to understand and appreciate that message, I try. I mean, still to this day, I struggle with it, but I still try to keep that message in the back of my mind. You know, when something bad happens, I feel like our first tendency is to kind of complain about it, but rather if we could look at it from perspective where, we have to understand that everything really does happen for a reason, and it's just all written in God's textbook. So
Yeah.
I try to look at things from a bigger perspective, and be grateful for the moment.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm a massive believer in that as well, that things happen for a reason. I've been through health things myself. I had cancer a few years ago, and that one belief was undoubtedly one of the biggest things that got me through that. And I think, like you said, for anyone listening to this, like if you're going through something difficult in your life, easier said than done. But if you can ask yourself and really get focused on, why is this happening for a reason? Like, why is life happening to me? Or why is life happening for me in this way rather than why is life happening to me? And if you can find the seed in there, it just allows you to, one, enjoy your life more, and two, it allows you to kind of get to the next phase of your life in a much more successful way. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, and so I would be curious to hear from you. You're doing all these different things. You're doing them all successfully. You're continuing to crush it. It sounds like at the core, you're extremely disciplined, and that's probably a huge piece of this as well. But I'm curious, how do you look at, let's say, the next 5 years of Kotaro's life? Like, what's the next 5 years look like?
I think, like I said, I try to take things one day at a time.
Yeah.
A simple message that I'm always reminded of is that tomorrow's never promised. I've had a lot of friends who unfortunately have passed away in a blink of an eye, and so kind of those moments kind of remind you that tomorrow's not necessarily promised. And so I think I do have an ideal dream or ambition that I want to reach 5 years from now, but I'm not too focused on that. As crazy as it may sound, I'm more focused on, okay, what do I have to get done today? Okay, what do I have to get done today to set myself up for tomorrow,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And I mean that physically, spiritually, mentally. I never. I feel like when we're focused too much on 5 years from now, we kind of take a little bit. We take today for granted. Oh, I
Hmm.
can rest today because I still have time. But for me, I think 5 years from now, I simply, as crazy as it may sound, I just wanna be happy. You know, um,
Yeah.
I want to be
I love that.
financially stable. I just want to be happy. I want to be surrounded by people I love. No fake love, just real love, and
Yeah.
see where life takes me. Whether it's soccer involved or whether soccer is not involved, I'm okay with whatever comes my way. I have strong faith in God, and wherever He guides me, I'm all in it.
Love it,
I
man.
know that may sound really vague, but that's just the simplicity that I try to live by.
Yeah. And it's a beautiful message, I think, for anyone listening, also for myself, as I hear you say it, it's like, just focus on what can you do today and do it as well as you possibly can. And it's so true. It's like, if you just focus on doing the best you can do today, and then tomorrow comes, you focus on doing the best you can do tomorrow, in 5 years, you're going to end up most likely where you wanted to go because you just focused on doing what you needed to do that day.
Exactly. And a cool example I had is I had a close friend who was always telling me how miserable he was at his job, and I think the message I told him was take care of today. If you're in a negative environment, if you're not happy, take care of today. I mean that by do the work that you have to do in your job, do what your boss tells you to do, but in your free time, look for other opportunities. This isn't just one closed door for you. You're a
Yeah.
talented guy. You have other doors that you can open. And he recently resigned from his job, and he got a new job right away, and so far he's enjoying it. So I feel like
Let's
that's
go.
that's that's kind of the message that I have for myself as well. You have to put your if you're not happy with a situation, you have to understand that we're in control of that situation. So it's our responsibility to get out of that situation as well. And I think
Yeah.
that's kind of the model that I would like to tell others, because I know there's a lot of people, especially within the age group that you've said, 25 to 30, who are kind of satisfied but not happy, you know.
Mm.
And we have to realize we'll never be younger than we are today. So the opportunity to change yourself is today, you know.
Yeah. Absolutely beautiful, man. Well, it's been an absolute joy to dive through some of your story today, man. And I think there's so many nuggets and wisdom that you can see why you've had the success in all the different fields that you've had in your life. And I'm sure as we, look at the next 5-10 years and we continue to see what you're up to, there's going to be more of these things where we're going to go, okay, did another 0.00001% thing, right? Because that's just who you are. And I'm curious if people want to find you, follow you, see what you're up to, stay connected to your world. Where's the best place for our listener to find you and hang out with you?
First and foremost, I just want to say thank you so much for having me. I've never, I've done a couple podcasts, but I've never done a deep podcast like this where you talk a lot more than just the surface stuff. So I enjoyed this. But
man. Thank you.
I think my Instagram would probably be the best way. It's at Kotaro, Kotaro 13 Umeda, Umeda.
Boom. Easy enough. All right. And then last question I have for you, and it's a question we ask for all of our guests because we want to help people find direction, but we really believe in doing it through action, is what would you say is one thing our listener can do in the next 24 to 48 hours to start finding direction in their life?
Yeah, there's a quote that says, you have to change the environment before the environment changes you. So whatever you may be dealing with, if you're not happy, if you're unsatisfied, it's our responsibility to get out of that situation. And I always say our one day is achieved by saying day one, meaning we always say one day I want to achieve this, one day I want to be here, one day I want to have $1 million, one day I want to do this. But that's all it is for a lot of people. We never say, okay, today's gonna be my day one towards that one day dream. And it really does begin with saying, okay, today's day one. I'm gonna sign up for a membership at my gym because one day I want to lose weight.
Yeah.
Or one day I want to make $1 million. So today I'm gonna sign up for a side hustle. Or one day I want to move to San Diego like you. So today I'm gonna work on a side hustle just to save up. On one day I can move there. I feel like that's the message that I would say. People are so worried about creating a perfect opportunity for themselves to set them up when they realize that they create the perfect opportunity for themselves. I think that's the most important message that I have for everyone listening. You got to take care of today.
Let's go. I love it. Well, man, it has been such a joy to dive through your story, Kotaro. Thank you again for being here, and truly appreciate everything that you shared, brother.
Thank you for having me, Stu. I truly appreciate it.
Absolutely. Congratulations, my friend, on crushing it on another episode here on Finding Direction. Make sure you give yourself a pat on the back, a round of applause, because you are one of the few who's not willing to settle for less than a life that lights up your soul, and that is absolutely something worth celebrating. I hope you got some massive value from that conversation with Kotaro, and more importantly, I hope you ask yourself right now, what is the thing you need to do to make today day one to making your one-day dream a reality? Go out there, take some action, and if you're enjoying this episode, I would be so grateful if you would leave us a really quick review. Let us know what you like, what you want more of. That's how we get this show in front of more people, make it even better for you, and ultimately make an even greater impact on this world. Thank you so much for being here with us today. I hope you have an unbelievable, outstanding, incredible rest of your day. And if you do not want to go anywhere, I got another episode coming up right after this that you can tune into. And other than that, my friend, I will talk to you soon.